Hello, my lovely edge dwellers. Luca Hallex here, Power Sorcerer. Welcome to episode 5 of my laser light channel sessions. I am back in channeling mode and enjoying it very much, and recording all of them. And so we have not a full house today, but enough people here so that I have somebody to channel to, which always makes the channeling better when there's actually people holding it and focusing on what it is that we're doing here. So thank you all so much for showing up, and also any of you who are coming to this in the replay. So I have just spent a moment or two grounding myself. I am presently in London, south of the Thames River. Not too far from Greenwich, which is where Greenwich Mean Time comes from. And I am staying in a little Airbnb, well, perhaps not so little. So you can see that the wallpaper behind me makes me look like I'm in the woods. But there's no armchair in this room, so I'm sitting on the bed. And that's why you get me at a slightly funny angle here where you get to look up my nose. So it may not be the most professional of vantage points for my camera, but this was all I could set up in the space I have available to me. So it's my great pleasure to be with everybody here today. And I'm going to close my eyes because that seems to be my best way for kind of moving myself out of the way so that my team can come through. So what we're the folks quote unquote that we're to whom we're speaking today are a combination of my guides, my oh boy, I've got a big yawn here, my intergalactic team, and that of all of you and everybody else who's going to listen to this now or in the future. So I don't know quite how they do that, but they keep telling me that that's what they do and how they do it. And so I'm sharing with you what it is that comes through. So a half an hour, and then Jennifer and Desiree are going to graciously host or hostess, if that's the right word, a little discussion for about 15 minutes afterwards. And then what we tried last time was getting together for a longer discussion of some of the things that come out in the channeling. And as of right now, we don't know what it's going to be. But it's always, what we're finding is that it's interesting. What comes up is interesting and thought-provoking. So we will, if anybody is interested, we will host that next week and record it for any of you who would like to come and join in, either by sending us your comments beforehand or doing it through the replay. So that's it for now. So I am going to take a few deep breaths and set my intention, as I always do. Yeah. I'm curious about the yawns because I was not yawning before I started this. And I like doing this, so I'm not in resistance. So we will perhaps find out what the yawning is all about as we move along, because you never know. So here's the very beginning. Good evening, dear ones. We are quite a large group assembled here outside of your visual awareness to talk to you today about those things that are uppermost in your awareness as we move into this period that is pivotal in terms of the shifting of your planet. Luca is noticing yawns, and this has to do, as she is asking questions, as she begins to let go of control over her vocal medium. she is curious about what the yawns are. The yawns are a process of adjusting her throat chakra so that the vibration that we are, which is a higher vibration than she carries in her day-to-day life as she moves about in her earth suit, as we jokingly refer to it. So this is a process which all of you go through when you are speaking on behalf of your higher presence and higher vibration on the planet. Moment. We are helping Luca to relax and shift her energy presence so that she may let us through more fully. We, as a team, as a group with a purpose, would like to let you know that as a body of focus in your reality at this time, you are all in the process of shifting. Shifting is a word that can mean so many different things from your perspective. We can explain to you that from our perspective, shifting is about the exchange of energy within molecules and wavelengths to allow for more space and therefore different movement of energy through time and space. From our perspective, time and space are synonymous and are not particularly useful to you until you begin to move at a higher vibration. And once you do, you don't need to know how it works any longer because you already understand as soon as you begin to vibrate at that level. What you're involved in at the moment is a period of shifting. Some parts of you have already shifted and are pulling the other parts of you into a higher vibration. The parts of you that have not yet made the complete shift are puzzled, curious, sometimes perplexed by how energy moves, generates, connects at this higher level of vibration. As we said, once you are shifted, you no longer have these questions because it is what you would refer to as normal. It is not a shortfall on your part if you have not yet shifted, for you are here for the shift. And when we say here for the shift, we mean that you have set your intention to make this lifetime about shifting energy. And in doing so, you are showing others around you how this is done. all of you have done this in another time and space on this planet when it was possible to do this. There are many connections now between that time, which you would understand from your so-called New Age readings as the time of Lemuria, the time of Atlantis. These civilizations shifted to such a great extent that their footprint on the planet is no longer physically available to you. However, it is energetically available to you as soon as you put your focus there. Each and every one of you has lived one, and in most cases, more than one lifetime in these times of shift before. And you have returned to the planet at this time to help make this a graceful shift for the population of the planet at this time. There are many, many different levels on which this shift is being accomplished. Some of them are what you call astrology, and we call opportunities to manipulate the matrix of energy on, in, and around the planet so that there are openings through which any of you may move. And when we say move, we are talking about you moving your consciousness, which is on an energy level, nothing but the movement of molecules and wavelengths. We are very deliberately using language here that is as simple as we can make it. But in truth, this is a complicated process. Complicated does not mean difficult. It means intricate, many faceted, many layered. And all of you are capable of understanding at that level. But understanding at that level is not done with the brain. It is done with a greater consciousness that is in and around your physical form on the planet at this time. The locus of control for this awareness is in your higher self, which is not embodied. What operates your body as you know it is the result of the focus, the result of the consciousness. Everything manifests on the physical level last because it is the level that is most dense. All of you who are listening to this at the moment and are involved in this shift are vibrating at a higher level, which means that even your physical form is not as dense as it was when you were born, and not as dense as many of the other beings on the planet at this time. If you can imagine it, if you can dream it, indeed, if you can formulate any kind of question about what it is that's happening at the moment, then that means that you are already part of the process. If you were not part of the process, the questions would not even occur to you. We say this to you because we are encouraging you to trust that you are knowledgeable, aware, loving beings on the planet at this time, and that what is unfolding presently is a great adventure. The biggest challenge on the planet at the moment is for physically incarnated beings to open their hearts and allow themselves to love fully, for it is the energy of love that has the highest vibration and that allows for the transition, the shift through which you are going at the moment. You could say that this is a process of increasing your confidence, your willingness to encounter yourselves on an energy level. You have done such a good job of convincing yourself that you are nothing but an earthbound creature in a three-dimensional suit that you are having difficulty remembering that you came here to shift the energy. To shift the energy, you must now remember that you are bigger than your simple earth suit. Your earth suit has a greater capacity than you have been led to believe. For as your vibration increases, the frequency of your vibration increases. Your physical form is capable of more than it was capable of at lower vibration levels. This translates into healing faster and your metabolism working faster. This means that the professions on your planet that have to do with measuring the human body, experimenting with the human body, diagnosing it, healing it, repairing it, are going to have to adjust how they see the human form, because it will not react any longer the way it used to. Many of the professions who are associated with this still believe that if they once measured the body should be doing the same things now as it did when they first took the measurements. In fact, this is changing from week to week and month to month, and is gathering speed even as we talk about this. Next year, you will be different than you are at this time this year. This is tremendously exciting because it means that you will have greater control over how your body reacts to your environment. And we include the energetic environment in this statement. You will have to get used to the idea that you do have greater control, and you will begin to monitor your own physical systems so that you can do your own diagnosis and make your own adjustments. This is going to redefine the medical profession around the planet. It will also redefine what it means to kill or injure or maim another human being in terms of warfare. When you understand that the soul cannot be killed, it makes war superfluous. There are factions on the planet at the moment who are working very hard to convince everyone who is involved with war that war can still kill and therefore make one side or the other victorious. The reason they're having to work so hard at this is because it is largely not true. We say largely because it is true for those who believe it to be true. And so for you who do not believe this to be true, or will shortly not believe it to be true, it will no longer be the case. And you are going to begin to look at conflicts and war. And we separate the two here because conflicts can kill still on the streets of your cities. And that is not considered to be war, but it is every bit like war, with a different impetus. We have chosen to focus just on this one area, but we ask you to imagine that vibrational influences such as this one are affecting every element of your life on this planet. We cannot, in this particular session, go into all of the details, but we are beginning to introduce the concept to you so that you, with your curious minds, can take it and run with it and experiment with what it means to imagine different outcomes. For if you can imagine it, you can make it so. Imagination is the setting of the design for what it is that you are choosing to experience next. This group that you are at the moment listening to us is going to grow. This is at the time that we are saying this, a little outside Luca's imagination, for she is still judging this by how many of you are present at this particular time for this particular recorded session. She hopes that it will grow and does not yet understand. And we are working with her on this. She does not yet understand the purpose for doing the channeling that she's doing, or the scope of the work, of the experience, we should say, and what it has the possibility to bring about in the world of your community. She is not the only one doing this kind of work on the planet at the moment, but she does it in her own unique way and is aided by the curiosity and participation of all of you. And you all bring your own flavor to the experience. It is as if you were baking a cake and all of you bring your unique flavor. Changes on your planet are going to come about very quickly now. And therefore, this group, we call you a group at this juncture. This group will change very quickly also. You are here at the moment based on faith and curiosity and some degree of hope that the planet will manage to pull itself up to a higher level of vibration before there are more pain-filled experiences created within the communities that make up the planet at this time. As we have said to you before, you experience on the plane where your consciousness is. As your consciousness rises, you will see less of the experiences that are pain-filled because you will have removed your vibrational energy from that plane. This is for you and for us an exciting time. When we say that we are excited, it means that our vibrations are speeding up. When our vibrations speed up, so do yours, because you have invited us to participate in your reality. Sped up, excited molecules of a higher frequency are our version of joy. And when we experience joy and you are participating with us, you experience joy also. The joy comes about through a sense of sharing, through love and understanding at a molecular level and beyond. For of course, there is more than a molecular level of influence when it comes to energy. We will save that for another talk, for it is quite detailed and more than can be encompassed in this particular chat with all of you today. You use many euphemisms. The one that comes to us at the moment is suggesting that you get your head out of your butts. This is a phrase that we find highly amusing, for we do not have butts. But, and we understand there is a play on words here, your euphemisms indicate that you have reached the limit of your language and need to create a phrase that is similar to a metaphor that will allow you to spread the limits of your language to encompass newly emerging concepts. Once you've managed to spread it far enough, these euphemisms will become part of your permanent language, and you will continue to create new ones that will allow you to further expand your own understanding. This is as long as you are still using verbal, auditory language to communicate with one another. We, of course, are doing that with you right now and taking advantage of the vibrations that come through the voice system of our Luca. But of course, we do not communicate with her on an auditory level most of the time. We communicate with her on a thought level, and it is combined with an emotional level so that there are fewer words and more senses of things, which is often what she will say when she's bringing through information from our level. She will say, I sense that, and proceed to explain things in metaphors. We have helped her to develop this facility with metaphors since she came to the planet, because we knew and she knew that she would be constantly pushing the limits of what she and her community are able to understand at any given time. When you work on the edge of what is known to most of the people in your community, you will constantly have to develop new language. We invited Luca to go on a trip almost a year ago now. And she has been attempting to listen to us and to her own higher knowing to make choices and move about within Europe, what you refer to as Europe. The work that she has been doing is largely vibrational, and she has been endeavoring to report back to you about what these experiences have been. She has been limited by the language that is available to her and her own cognizance around what the experiences that she has been having mean to her. Some of this will become more evident as she continues to move from one place to another. Although she has been making this trip largely on her own, she has not been alone. Not only have we been with her for this entire journey, but those of you who have been witnessing her journey have also been with her and have been helping to hold the possibilities of what can be happening on the planet right now. Every one of you, including Luca, is a two-way channel. Nothing just happens to you. For every time you react to what you believe is happening to you, you are effectively responding to something in your environment, which you have attracted based on your belief systems, based on your desires, hopes, and dreams. Your desires, hopes, dreams, and fears are what constitute your reaction as you attract to you the experiences that are part of your daily lives. The permutations of this, the possibilities of what will happen from moment to moment, are tremendously varied and nuanced and exciting. We say this to you now because we are once again coming back to this idea that you are empowered, that you are full participants in what is going on the planet. It does not mean because there are billions of grains of sand on a beach that any of those grains are insignificant. For if they were all not to be there, there would be no beach. You have this idea on your planet that if there is many of something, then it is insignificant. This is so far from the truth that it makes us shake our heads. One of our greatest challenges and also greatest delights as we work with you, all of you, is to help you to understand how significant you are and that every part of the whole is as important as the whole. And every part is constantly in exchange with every other part. If you could see this in terms of color, it would be as if you were watching the most exquisite fireworks ever created on the planet. From our perspective, this is one of the most beautiful things that we can witness. We say witness instead of see, for we do not see with eyes the way you do. We experience vibration, but we experience it on a very, very nuanced, particular, sophisticated level. And it gives us great joy. Also of great joy to us is working with all of you. We use the word working because you do not really have a substitute for this concept in your current working language systems. For us, it is an expression of who we are, so we do not see it as work or play, but merely as a form of self-expression and movement. It is a great pleasure for us. When Luca speaks to us, she thanks us at the end of our conversation. And we always say to her, it is our very great pleasure. This is much more than a salutation at the end of a letter. This is an expression of the great privilege that we feel it is to have all of you on the planet at this time who are open to experimenting with us and creating this most beautiful experience. Luca has been spending time over the last few months sliding backwards and forwards between one lifetime and another. She is becoming more adept at sliding around in time like this. There is still no concepts in your language for describing it, for she does not need to leave her current experience in order to do it. But in order to do it, she is leaving her current experience. This is contradictory, but it is self-evident, and the contradictions abound always. Something can be true and not true at the same time. She is currently determining how to communicate this to the people in her communities who need to hear what she is learning. Similarly, many of you will communicate to the people in your communities, some of which overlap with hers. You will look for ways to be able to integrate what you hear from her into your experience, and then how to communicate your experience to the people in your communities. And so it goes, and so it goes. This will be happening at an increasing pace, so that no sooner do you have a thought that it has flashed around the planet. Fear already travels this quickly. You will very soon begin to understand that love travels faster than fear. And as soon as you understand this concept, you will rejoice in being in a place of love as much as you possibly can, for it protects the planet. Each year, in different parts of the planet, you experience what you have come to know as spring. Spring is part of a cycle, but it is a renewal process and gives you a new start for experimenting with the things that have been gestating over the fallow time in the dark of your year, because you have two different hemispheres of the planet. One half of the planet is always in this gestation period, and the other half is always in the bring it out and experiment with it in your physical experience part of the year. You have in your astrology or your understanding that you bring through as part of astrology as you know it. You have several significant eclipses coming up. We do not look at the eclipse part of it so deeply as you do, because you need something to which to attach the experiences you're having. We have moved to a higher level and look at experience as something that comes together when wavelengths coalesce. So we can say to you now that several wavelengths are coalescing, and you will have opportunities for understanding, for enlightenment, so that you will be able to shift certain fears that you have and clear them from your systems. As they come to the surface, we suggest to you that you could do with a mechanism for reminding yourself that this is just coming to the surface, and that you can allow it to rise and go above and beyond you and be released. Then we encourage you to be curious about what there is now space for, what can rise up to your consciousness in its stead. For as you remove fears, you enter into an endlessly creative process of opening doors and inviting in new concepts with which to play. We thank Luca for allowing us to use her physical vehicle and allowing us to play in your vibrational field this month. It is, as we said earlier, our very great pleasure to come and be part of this experiment with you. You are as important to us, perhaps more so than we are to you. We bid you good day and look forward to our next opportunity to exchange. Blessings to you all. There. I have no idea how long that was.
That was a good, I think almost 40, 45 minutes or something like that.
Wow. I lose all concept of time when I do that. It's yeah, it comes through in little segments. And then I think, is that it? And then something else comes. And then I say, is that it? And then something else comes. And then I get to a point where they wrap it up. Interesting.
It was. Do you have any immediate things that you remember
very weird when they refer to me in the third person.
Yeah.
I still haven't quite got used to that. And they do this, that they speak in very measured, in a very measured way. And my voice sort of drops into it. I can feel that. Yeah.
Interesting.
It feels like they're explaining things to us that are incredibly elementary. But not to us, but to them. So they're having to go beyond simplifying to make it so that they can explain it to us.
But the simplification with the vibrational packaging, I find delicious.
Yeah.
Like once it comes, like I can actually just sink into it and go, oh yeah. As opposed to the little brain going around, okay, the wheel, do I have to run faster? Is there enough power to generate and get this?
Yeah.
But even the concept, love travels faster than fear around the planet. So therefore love protects the planet.
Yeah. Which is like self-evident, but I've never thought of it that way before.
Here's your business card, right? And you are physically going around the planet.
Yeah. Well, part of it anyway.
No. Does anyone have...
Whoa.
But
You're
was
very
that
far
Desiree?
away.
Can you hear me or no?
Very faint.
Yeah.
I'll come closer over here. Is this better?
Yeah. Well, just
No.
slightly. Yeah.
And
might
you have
to
a
turn
clear voice. Yeah.
just a little more volume. Just a little. Have you figured out how to work it? It's not the same as yours at home, is it?
Yeah. Her lips are moving.
Yeah. Her lips are moving, but we're not hearing anything.
I'm just wondering how Tracy's
Hello,
doing
Tiger.
time-wise, because I think you're quite...
Is this better? Is
No.
this any better? Boo.
Not really. No. I mean, we can hear you, but just. And Tracy, are you all right for time still?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because it's Sunday morning
Good.
here.
Oh,
it's-
that's
it's
right. Yes, it's the weekend.
5 to 10 in the morning. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
but we're going to daylight saving ending the week after Easter. So then we'll start at 8 o'clock in the morning, which is always a little challenging for this girl.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, at least you don't have to say anything.
No, true.
Not until a little ways in anyway. And then maybe by then the coffee will have kicked in.
Yeah.
So let's see
So
if this, can you hear me any better?
Oh
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, because I'm not talking through a speaker, I'm talking direct to the computer. So, okay. So the first thing that like jumped out at me as the quote that I want to quote out is pull your head out of your butt.
I thought to
And
myself,
so then,
oh please.
right? So then we're all like standing around the kitchen here. And I'm like, no, really, like you need to pull the head out of your butt. And then it's like, I felt like energetically, like more of you would come out if we actually pulled our head out of our butt. And what is the butt? So anyways, we had fun with that one over here. So
And then they said, but.
We don't have butts, but we find it quite amusing.
But yeah, the play on
Oh.
words, I loved it. I roared with laughter when they said that because I thought they might say ass because that's what we say, get your pull your head out of your ass.
Yeah.
But they were very polite, so it was but I laughed out loud.
But
So
it's
funny.
not a phrase that I use. And I thought, where the hell is that coming from? And they didn't
one
tell
that
me where they were getting
I feel like we've all heard it, right?
We've
At
all
one
heard
point
it,
or
but-
another, right?
Well, that's the PG version of it. That's the
Yeah.
PG.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keeping it playful.
The one that I went, I mean, that was cute, but I went Mercat, like, ooh, Mercat. When it came and said, Luca is more adept at sliding around in time to other lifetimes, and it's unnecessary to leave the current one to do so. And I'm like, okay, we're going to talk more on that one.
Well, I was at, I went to the Greenwich Market yesterday, and I was on the bus, and as we got closer to the river, because it's on the Thames River, we got closer to the river, and the light changes, because I don't know why, but the light changes. And I looked at all these buildings, and I thought, oh, I recognize these buildings. And then I thought, but this isn't my part of town. My part of town. Never, I mean, I've been to Greenwich because I came in from the river. I came on a riverboat when I was a kid. And then we went up to the observatory and stood with one foot on either side of the Greenwich Mean Line. And we went into the Naval Museum, and that was it. And then we got back on the boat and we went away again. So I've never been on the streets of Greenwich like that. And as I was going along the street, I thought, oh yeah, this is where the Knobs live. And that phrase is used over here, and I never use it. I've heard my mother use it a few times, but not a lot. But it came straight out of the lifetime that I lived there, where I think I was a servant. I think I worked below stairs. So I never would have been at the fronts of any of those buildings because I wouldn't have had any reason to be there. And I would have seen the people who lived there as the Knobs. They like that. It wasn't my world at all. And I'm getting, as I go into places, I'm getting like, it's like I slide into time. And I slide into the person I was there, and I pick up how that me then would have thought, which is fascinating because it's terms and that I don't use, and it comes with smells and sounds that aren't there this time.
Do you feel that it can become more intentional in that, like the rest of us, you can go to a space and say, what do I need to know? Like, show me what I need to know, versus it kind of noticing it happening to you. Yeah.
I'm falling into that more, where if I'm not sure what I'm doing somewhere, I say, do I need to be here? And if I don't, I just turn around and walk out.
That could be fun at work sometimes. I don't need to be here, people. I don't have to justify it. What are you talking? I know, I'm empowered.
Well, but I think when we do that, like, how honest would it be if you stood up in a meeting and said, we don't need to be having this meeting right now. It's wasting everybody's time. And you just walked out. Because if it truly is that, then everybody in the meeting would say, oh, thank God, I thought so too.
Right? I guess it comes from the place of intent versus some people trying it on going, I just don't want to be there, versus your genuine sense of. Absolutely. So that's the playing part, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Of trying things out.
Yeah,
I mean, forget, because I was just thinking, oh, we don't have to do past life regression, none of that. It's just kind of somebody sit down, or you go for a coffee instead. Okay, what do we feel here? What were you, similar to, does anyone have any in the past, or even now that we're asking? I mean, there's a big focus on Lemuria and Atlantis.
Yeah.
Anyone have any impressions themselves around that they know of, have considered, or considering right now? And now? Because time and space isn't what we think it is. And now?
I think it's the energetic connection of just knowing things when we have that connection with people, I'll say in 3D land out in the world, but they shine differently, or there's that
I'm gonna go familiar feeling when we see them again, and whether that comes from. And it was actually cute because Hillary was like, where are we pulling this information from today in this call? And I said, we don't usually talk about exactly where it comes from, right as they talked about Lemuria and Atlantis. And I was like, apparently we're going specific today. But we've all talked about remembering energetically each other from potentially Lemuria and the deck of cards that Jennifer and I use regularly or source together. I think that was that remembering of energetically a connection from another time.
Yeah.
For example.
I've often wondered whether I think I primarily identify with being from Atlantis, but this incredible love energy that's around at the moment is very Lemurian. And I'm beginning to understand that we've lived in all the different cultures. That it's not just one. So it really is fluid. And when they talk about sliding around, it's not a word I would have used, but I really do think that we can slide even in one conversation from one to another. I experience it more when I'm doing reading circles, when I shift my attention from one person to another around the room.
So it'll be like, oh, today Jennifer feels like a hot fudge sundae with nuts, and Tracy is a delicious, who knows what dessert, and yeah, everyone has a different. Well, I really like what you said, Desiree, about familiarity. But my question, of course, goes beyond, because we're talking like Lemuria and Atlantis we see as linear timelines within this existence. But if I come and see you, I would be like, oh, you're a starseed. I recognize you from not Earth.
Yeah.
So like there's a whole other familiarity, which is why I was curious about just, because I actually attended maybe a year ago, I was completely drawn to a weekend online course with all these Lemurian, like the subject was Lemurian. It was people channeling Lemurian. It was somebody who is a Lemurian priestess that remembered, and she would do these certain tones and whatever. And I sat, and for a lot of the weekend, I was just crying because I would be like, I remember, like, these are people who are like my people, like, oh my God, this is so exciting. And then it passed and I was over it. But no, but it was like, but it was like relinking back into something that now I have. And so there's less charge around it.
Yeah.
Shall we say? Because it's part of me now. But that initial, I don't know if other people find it, you go out and I'm, there's a big talk about people, oh, well, I'm Andromeda, or, I'm from the Pleiades system, and we do the healing. Arcturian's a big one for healing and bringing in Arcturian tools and downloading these transmissions. I'm not sure if anyone else has played in that field, but if you just get to a point where it's, status quo, you kind of go up to look at the smorgasbord of tools that are common now to access.
Yeah.
Any comments?
I agree with you.
Yeah. Right.
You've got a kitchen full of people there at Desiree. And any comments from your end?
No, that was just,
We're just in awe.
yeah.
I think would be the word, the 3D word we'll use is awe of I think really a sense of feeling.
And for
There was an
everyone
explanation. There was
Yeah,
like
go ahead.
this universal, I don't know, this connection of, explaining how big and important, like what they were coming through and saying, explaining sort of their intention and what the purpose is and how incredibly enormous this is. And again, it's just a reminder how minuscule our existence is on this planet when we look at the galaxy and everything else that surrounds us and is with us. I don't know, it was mind-boggling. Mind-boggling, but at the same time, a knowing and a reminder. I was like,
Yeah.
oh yeah.
I
that
could
makes-
really
that makes
feel it
perfect
when they
sense.
were explaining it, that they don't
Mhm.
see it as minuscule. We do. And they're trying to get
Yes.
us past that so that
Mhm.
we can understand that every little piece is incredibly important. There is
Mhm.
no hierarchy. We impose a hierarchy on it because that's part of our physical existence. But they see this work that they're doing with us as being super important, because even though we're the grains of sand on the beach, we're so much more than that, right? They get I can feel them when I'm talking. They get all excited about it.
Mhm. Yeah.
I know what you're giggling too.
Brenda did a
they
lot of
say
giggling.
they are.
Oh, just
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, when I look at all of you guys, you all come from somewhere different, somewhere else. Like,
Mhm.
and I think that we in different permutations have had experiences all with one another through time and space, right? Otherwise we wouldn't have come together in this configuration. But it's my brain my brain goes it goes into little shards, and it goes off in a billion different directions, because I can tune into any one of you and get multiple connections with each and every one, and then I can see how you have multiple connections to one another, and it goes like, and it's so fast that I can't even say it that fast, right? But I
It's
can.
supercalifragilisticexpialidocious,
Yes.
even though the sound of it is something quite atrocious.
Yeah.
Because it's playful and
Truly.
fun at the same time.
It is.
But yeah.
It's
Well,
and
I guess-
then we understand. As soon as we can understand it, then we can stand on it.
as they say, as that was shared, unfolding presently is a great adventure. Da, da, da.
I love that you were taking like actual notes. We were just sitting
Oh, I
around the
took-
kitchen.
Yeah, no, I find it like really interesting, because then you see themes starting to come up, right? Like there's these levels of shifting, and then she came back to the shifting later with the eclipses. So it went into we're shifting, and then do some other context, and then came back to say, oh, well, with these, we call them
They were gonna
eclipses,
close
but-
and then they went back.
Yeah, because they're like, it's just really it's a window of opportunity for stuff to kind of come off. And if we're aware, just kind of go, oh, look at that, and see if you can let it go. It's shifting the buttocks of things, the bottom. We can tie all that
As
together
we were
too.
talking, I asked Hillary if it was okay if I put her on the spot, because I know she's listened to the replay when we had our open house last month. So she got a taster of what this was. She wasn't able to join live today, being a birthday celebration. The two of us brought her in, and I asked her, like, what did you find? Like, it's just so much more powerful, and the energy just comes directly through versus the replay where it needs to be integrated through something else. So it was way more powerful. So I think they asked about joining or increasing our community. I think we got a new one.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, that would be absolutely delightful. It is. I mean, it
She's
was
a new flavor, which is
Yeah.
delightful.
it was a very it was a deliberate
to that.
decision in September to start doing this more. But it feels like, I mean, I don't know if I'm doing it just because I like doing it, or I like the information that comes through. That's interesting. but I also feel like they get behind me and they start going like this, and they start pushing me. And so it's really this is information that I usually talk about with the people that I know who will talk about it with me. But it's sort of unofficial, and and for many of the earlier years of my life, I felt like I was kind of on a time limit, right? People could only take so much of it before they'd switch off, and I'd think, oh, I've lost them. But I feel like with you guys, I've got a community where you guys are just as interested in all of this as I am. And that is so much fun for me. It's like candy. Because and it shows me that the world is starting, because I was talking about stuff like this when I was 15, and I could talk to my mom about it. But I didn't have anybody else I could talk to about it. So this having a place to put this, why I can't even tell you how fabulous that is for me.
Yeah,
Mwah.
exactly. Big kisses.
Yeah.
And I feel it would be fun to mark, it's like a time capsule for a year, because it was the information was very specifically shared that our reality and our relationship with our bodies and our healing and all of that is going to change significantly at accelerated, because I mean, obviously, as we move to higher vibrations, things move in a faster rotation, right? In a cyclical motion. That next year will be so different than we are today.
Yeah,
So
be
it's like,
curious
we all
to see where
agreed
we
to
are.
come
Right?
back to a time capsule and think, like, just think right now, what's the potentiality of in a year?
Yeah.
That I could just, I don't know, go through my time portal and I could be over in the kitchen and have some cake with Brenda and gang, right? You know, look, I'm here. Or I don't know, Tracy, you want to have a party, and you know, we can sit and exactly, right? Sit down and chat about all this stuff, or go, oh, I got some irritation, I just need a little help, and we'll go bibbity bobbity boo, and Desiree will put up her magic wand finger, and we'll all send the love, and you're like, okay, just a little, there, we got it, okay, we're done, thanks, boom, we're done, right? And off we go. Just
I really had the sense that we have to adjust our expectations around that, right? Because we probably can't do it yet because we don't believe we can do it yet. But once we know we can do it, we'll stop going to doctors to get their diagnosis, because we'll be so familiar with our own physical systems that we'll be able to say, oh, that needs a tweak today. Or
feel you bringing, or whoever, us, because we brought this in as an invitation, as you say, making the implicit explicit, because I think we all innately know this, but to bring it forward as, guess what, it may not be in the medical books, but it exists.
Yeah.
And then to start to play with it. I mean, even the word that we use is beginning to monitor our own physical system. So again, the word is beginning because we start. But once you begin something and there's momentum, it goes.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, to me, I think that's super exciting. You know, let it begin versus me. Like I've done, just last week, I did DNA recoding and this and that. Like I'm always sticking my finger in something and coming up. All right, did anything change? How are we doing now? Right? Like, is there different levels? Do I have a third boob? Like, what's going on? Right?
And isn't it cool that you guys are doing it around a kitchen table? I've always thought that the world evolves around kitchen tables, right? And I'm really looking forward to being in Alberta. It's coming closer.
And so what's cool is we have the computer sitting like literally in the extra seat around the table. So we are sitting, you guys are sitting in the extra seat around the table.
So what's the name of the computer? It has to have a presence.
What's the computer's name?
Whoever comes to you. Pardon?
Or wah wah wah.
Wah, wah, wah. Okay.
Whoa.
Wah, wah, wah.
Still getting to know them.
She's still getting to know him.
I had a friend when I was a teenager who had a son who was about 4, and she took him into a Kmart. It was a Kmart. We didn't have Walmarts yet at that time. And he disappeared. And she couldn't find him. So she went to the security desk, and she said, which was like in a little office, a little back office, and she said, I've lost my son. He was here a minute ago and I can't find him. And they said, what's his name? And she told them, and they were talking about what he looked like and how tall he was. And then she looked behind the guy she was talking to, and there was her son sitting down at the other end of the office. And she said, well, there he is right there. And the guy said, oh no, ma'am, that's not your son. And she said, yes, it is. It's right there. So the guy turned around and said to him, is this your mother? And he said, no. And she said, what do you mean I'm not your mother? So then the guy said, his name is Wally Free. And she said, what do you mean his name is Wally Free? And they never figured out where he got this name from, and he made it up. And he sat there and told bald-faced lie. He said that was not his mother. He must have been having a ball.
Say he's having a
When-
great time.
When you have to come up with a name for a computer, my instinct is to say it's Wally.
Wally.
It's Wally.
You're muted. Brenda was.
We are curious over here.
Yes.
We were just wondering if he maybe was a walk-in.
Well, Brent, which is what his real name was really quite something. And he was a character, and he does internet stuff now. He's like computers, but he used to follow the telephone guy around the neighborhood and collect all the little wires, the little colored wires that the guy dropped down from where he was working on the telephone wires. And he'd bring them all home, and then he'd twist them all together. One day his mother was sitting on the phone talking to her mother, who lived in Ontario, and they were in Montreal. And she went to get up to make herself a cup of coffee and fell over because he had wired her to the chair. Because she just didn't pay a lot of attention to him, because he was always doing something weird. And he just quietly twisted all these wires together and put them all around her feet and the leg of the chair very lightly. But when she got up to move, the chair went with her. So maybe he was a walk-in. I don't know.
I'm just curious if he was maybe even remembering who his an essence of. I remember a time when I was this, and actually,
I think
she's
so.
not my real mom. My real mom is blah 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 from
I wonder.
XYZ.
It makes me wonder.
I
Yeah.
just showed up here, and I don't know what I'm doing, but
Yeah.
that's
He
fun.
he was a neat kid. I used to babysit him all the time. And
Do you feel, Luca, you're a walk-in? If you're asked that
No.
question.
no.
Tracy, do you feel you're any form of anyone at the lovely
At the
Party
kitchen
table?
table?
Nope.
feel a walk-in?
I think I dipped
Oh.
out
You
intentionally.
dipped out? What?
Brenda dipped out intentionally. She might be coming back.
Oh,
I walked
cool.
in later.
Yeah. Who's in
Um,
your container?
Yeah.
It'll be interesting when that comes up. I mean, I don't feel I'm officially a walk-in, but I remember when I was learning hypnotherapy, one of the co-students, we used to trade back and forth after we finished just to keep versed in it. And some of them had never done past life because that wasn't intentional, and I can quite easily go there. So she was playing around with me, and I remember going, okay, yeah, I'm going back. And I'm like, just a sec, I'm not there yet, because there's this green dude and he wants to ask if he can come in. He's a scientist and he wants to come into my body for a while and, just hang around and learn stuff. And I'm totally cool with that. So yeah, dude, you can come in and hang around. And I could feel this the person just starting to retract from the hypnotherapy chair. I'm like, okay, never mind. We'll just keep going back into the next life now. We can close that door. So that's kind of the closest, because I kind of feel at times within me like I have these different aspects that are really significant
Mm.
that come out. So maybe, you know, there's other interdimensional beings that come in for periods to cohabitate in the suit.
The question
Mhm.
is, do you vacate or are you staying in there with them?
Well,
Right.
a walk-in by definition of this book, there are some, like there's higher souls that come in for periods. It's not just a complete exit.
Mhm.
That's one classification of a walk-in.
Yep.
But I don't
Interesting.
exit on that one, which is why I think we have
Mm-mm.
internal space dialogue about you
Yep.
crossed the line. Don't touch the
Yep.
line. Your fingers over the line. This is my side of the
Mhm.
earth suit. Go over there. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Do you ever get that, Luca, when you're have people coming in? Probably they're a
Well,
nicer vibe.
I have a team who oversee from outside me. So and I very consciously decided that I would be a conscious channel. So I'm not like Esther Hicks with Abraham. She leaves and he takes over. And Seth did that with Jane Roberts. He came in and took over. And she didn't have, neither of them have any recollection of what they've said during a session. And that's not the case for me.
Excellent.
I
Yeah.
didn't want to lose whole chunks of my life that way. And I'm interested in what comes through. So I chose not to be an unconscious channel. So that in a way, I drew the line and said, no, I'm not moving out.
Yeah, exactly, right?
I love it. I
Yeah.
get that.
Yeah.
It's similar.
Mhm. Cool. Well, I imagine that we will find more that we can discuss about all of this. And so if any of you are interested in coming back next week and, after you've had a chance to listen to the replay and you want to, if you want to come back and have a chat, then Jennifer and Desiree have graciously volunteered to host it, and I am happy to participate. But we will have to find a day because the
And time.
time is not standing still at the moment. So
Yeah.
so the pieces are shifting and all over.
Where are you heading to next, Luca?
To Calgary.
Oh, you're back in Canada.
So I leave here on the 11th of April. So I've got another 3 weeks here. And then I'm heading out to Calgary, and I'm going to spend some time in Canmore, which is in the foothills of the Rockies, visiting an old childhood friend of mine. And then I'm headed up to visit with Desiree and meet all the folks there that I've met online and haven't had a chance to meet in person yet. And then I'm headed to Kelowna to visit another friend of mine, but I haven't got the exact date on that yet.
Because Brenda wants to make sure that you spend some days at her house.
You have to stay here, Luca.
She was gonna have a
Oh, yeah.
temper tantrum, but I told her to sell it over her pants.
What, you can't be proprietary and keep me all to yourself?
Apparently not.
Luca,
Well,
is
we'll
at
have
the
to
end-
find we'll have
Luca,
to
is at
find
the
things
end-
that we can play
Sorry.
with.
Yeah,
Go
yeah,
ahead,
yeah.
Tracy.
Is Luca's at the end of your European sojourn, or you think you'll be
Uh,
heading back and forward?
I don't know at this point.
Okay.
I can't get that. I just managed to get myself to Alberta, and really, what happens after that, we're not sure about.
Yeah.
I'm entertaining ideas and possibilities, but I have at this point no idea. I went and checked. I've been playing with a whole bunch of possibilities, but nothing's gelled yet. So I'm just going to end the recording here because I noticed that we've been running for almost an hour and a half, and it'll be a very long replay. So I'll stop the recording, So thank you, everybody, for coming to the replay, and we'll be in touch. If you would like to come back and have more discussion about this, or the last one that we did, then drop your name underneath or in the comments, and we'll get in touch with you with possibilities for dates and times.
Awesome.
Hold on.
Awesome.
Great.
Yes.